What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, back with some more Draft League content. This time, bringing you guys my team builder and battle for Week 8 of Season 1 of the SoulDo Association, taking on the commissioner of the league itself, TDZero, the coach of the Seattle Dragonairs. His links will be in the description down below. Be sure to check him out, as well as all the other coaches taking part in the SDA. Now, first and foremost, to address the situation that happened over the last couple of weeks, because, well, this is the first video I've actually put on my channel since week 4, and for the most part, what happened to week 5, 6, and 7. Well, condensed version for the most part. Week 5, I ended up getting a forfeit win for that battle. Week 6, we played, and I was going to make my team builder, do my video and all that stuff, and then I ended up losing the recording at the last second, which was even worse considering we actually had to end up doing 20-minute timer, and it went to timer, and I ended up losing, which was unfortunate because of the fact that I still felt as though I could have won that game. So yeah, we lost week 6, and then week 7 ended up being another forfeit win in my favor. So yeah, I contemplated like asking people to like make a team, and then I would like do a mock battle or whatever, but I didn't really want to go through all the trouble of trying to like get other people to help me out. I didn't want to feel like I felt like if I did that, it would be like they're helping me out, but what could I do back for them in return, you know? And I didn't want to trouble anybody like that, so I do apologize for the lack of content that's gone up since week 4. Just situation that came with, it was something that's just beyond my control. So hopefully we get back on track with the last few weeks before the season comes to an end. So we're heading into this battle, week 8. We are 5-2, and I believe our opponent is, at the moment, I think he's either 3-4 or 4-3. It's one of the two. He made some changes like early on in the season. He originally had like Sand with Hippowdon, Dragonairs, stuff like that. He dropped it, picked up some more annoying stuff. Moltres, Stack Attacker to a little bit of a lesser extent, but for the most part, I don't have to worry about dealing with Sand. That's first and foremost. But as you can see, he ended up also picking a Garchomp, which went undrafted. Which was something I was actually trying to see if I could do like Double Dragon, but I couldn't really make the points work out, so I just left it be. Yeah. So we're taking on TDZero. His team is very scary. As you can see, this is the showdown between the URSHIFUS, as obviously I have URSHIFU Rapid Strike, TD has URSHIFU Single Strike. So yeah, this is going to be a really, really fun matchup, all things considered. Lots of scary threats on his team. Garchomp, I already talked about one. URSHIFU is always a problem. Without the right responses, even down to Alakazam could be a bit of a nuisance, depending on the set. I do have some checks, not full stopgap measures per se, but still something I could potentially bring in the matchup. But just to quickly go over the mons I ended up bringing for this battle. So first and foremost, once again, it's a choice Dragapult. So yeah, Banded Dragapult is back. It didn't really go that well the last time I brought choice Banded Dragapult, which was against Goldoa. This time though, I feel a little bit more comfortable. Dragon Darts is a bit more spammable, and I am packing the Facade. Facade is mainly only there on the off chance I do get status by either Flame Body Moltres, if the Whimsicott wants to status me with like Prankster Stun Spore or whatever the case may be. That could be a possibility. And I figured in this matchup where he could go out into URSHIFU on Phantom Force, I figured Phantom Force is not the best option, because if he goes Phantom Force on my if I click Phantom Force, he goes Urshifu, and he's not Scarf, that's bad for me, because I'll attack him, he goes for Wicked Blow, he kills my Dragapult. Straight, plain and simple. I want a way to get damage off on pretty much everything. This doesn't have a way of touching Stack Attacker neutrally outside of Sucker Punch, but I feel like the rest of my team can handle Stack Attacker well enough to the point where I can actually get away with having Facade as my move of coverage, just to have a way to neutrally hit other stuff on his team without having the means to be completely fodder if I do end up getting burnt by the Moltres. If the situation does come up, I doubt it, but more often than not, I will be clicking Dragon Darts and U-turn, just to get off the most damage possible and keep up momentum if possible. EV spread, very straightforward. I am adamant this time to guarantee get the kill on Garchomp. I think it was the reason I went adamant over going Jolly. I think this guaranteed I get the best chance to do more to like a bulkier Chomp for the most part, which is why I did adamant over Jolly. But other than that, though, it's a very straightforward set. Hit as hard as possible, outspeed Alakazam, which is its fastest non-Scarf Pokemon, and the rest is thrown into HP. Next up, we have my Cinderace, pretty much heavy-duty boots, and once again running pretty much my favorite Cinderace set so far. Powerball, Taunt, Super Fang, and U-turn. Yeah, this have absolutely no way of doing that much damage to the Moltres or the Quillfish or anything of the sort, but I can Super Fang both of those threats, put things in range to where my Urshifu can end up cleaning up or doing more damage in the long run. As also want to point out the fact that my Cinderace is not outspeeding Whimsicott, basically because of the fact that Whimsicott cannot do much damage to my Cinderace, nor should it be trying to stay in, as its best move or its strongest move to hit my Cinderace with is Hurricane. And I really don't see a need for him to be Hurricane unless he really despises my Vileplume, which still does take a crap ton of damage from Psychic. So I decided not to bother trying to outspeed Whimsicott. So I think for the most part I'm just outspeeding non-Scarf Garchomp with my speed investment. The 68 Special Defense EVs lets me guarantee take any 2 hits from a non-Specs or Nasty Plot Rotom, barring Thunderbolt. I could take 2 Shadow Balls guaranteed from a Choice Scarf Rotom. The 68 in defense lets me guarantee take a Choice Scarf Urshifu's Wicked Blow from full, and the rest is just thrown into attack and 12 in HP because I had nowhere else to put it and I wanted to have an odd number on my Cinderace. So yeah, idea behind Cinderace very straightforward. Taunt stuff, Super Fang gets chipped down his bulky walls, and Powerball everything else. Very straightforward set. Then next up we do have my main Urshifu response, and that is my Weak Armor Rocky Helmet Mandibuzz. This does 2 things for my team. This guarantees I have a way of switching into the Urshifu, guaranteed. And it also lets me scout out the item on the Urshifu as well. If the Urshifu is Protective Pads, he will not take Rocky Helmet damage. I will know that, and I can basically ensure that he is not like choiced or in anything like that. But if he does take Rocky Helmet damage, then this pretty much ensures that he's either like Choice Band or Choice Scarf or some other item, depending on the damage. I will be able to determine that. This also gives me a way to not only switch in to the Urshifu if possible, well, definitely is possible, as I can take any 1 hit from even Choice Banded Urshifu, despite the fact that I'm not running that much defense investment. But the speed is pretty mandatory here. As with 180 EVs in speed, I can guarantee outspeed a Jolly Choice Scarf Urshifu with after my Weak Armor boost. I outspeed it, I can Brave Bird, chip that thing down, or if it goes for close combat, as I bring in my Mandibuzz, it takes Rocky Helmet damage, and after the defense drop, Brave Bird will knock it out after the defense drop. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was going for with this Mandibuzz set. Foul Play is also here to deter like an SD Garchomp. It's also beneficial for the fact that I don't take, if I want to Brave Bird into, I can, basically I don't want to click Brave Bird against Garchomp if the Garchomp is Rocky Helmet. Then I take helmet damage, then I take rough skin damage, and then I take Brave Bird recoil. And I really don't want to put myself into a position where I'm killing myself even faster. So if I can mitigate at the very worst the Brave Bird recoil and deter him going for Sword Stance Scale Shot with the Garchomp, then that's all good with me. Defog is basically just there to deter him from going for Hatcher Stack with the Quillfish in case he does opt to bring spikes or even toxic spikes, because I'm not bringing my Vileplume in this game. And then of course Roost is just there for longevity purposes. That's pretty much all I want to say about Mandibuzz. Very straightforward in what it's supposed to do in this matchup. Then we have Urshifu Rapid Strike with the protective pad, Surging Strike, Drain Punch, U-Turn, and Aqua Jet. Yes, this has absolutely no way of hitting the Whimsicott super effectively. I don't have Ice Punch on this set, basically because I valued the last two moves a whole lot more, having the ability to get momentum with U-Turn, and then Aqua Jet's nice for just picking off faster threats like Garchomp, Alakazam if its Sash has been broken, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this also gives me a means of deterring or luring in stuff like, well, his main switch into Urshifu would pretty much be, he has technically three decent responses to my Urshifu. Like, it's basically hard-walled by, this set's hard-walled by Whimsicott, the Quillfish, and even funnier, the Dewpider. But, regardless, I can U-turn out on all three of them and then get in something else to pressure or force them out. Which is pretty much what I was going for with the idea behind this Urshifu set. Very straightforward EV spread, max attack, max speed to speed tie with non-Scarf Urshifu. Moving on, we have my Gardevoir with the Pixie Plate, Psychic, Moonblast, Draining Kiss, and Thunder Wave. Yes, this set has no way of touching Stakataka, no Focus Blast, but basically I feel confident enough to the point where everything else on my team can wear down Stakataka well enough to the point where I don't really have to worry about trying to chip down the Stakataka for my Gardevoir, because Gardevoir isn't really the win con for this matchup. It's basically, its role in this game is more so designed to be support, with the fact that I am running Thunder Wave to slow down his faster threats. I can essentially cripple everything on his team not named Garchomp and Rotom with Thunder Wave. Outside of that though, everything else is pretty straightforward. Psychic to get the most damage off on his Fairy Resist, which is essentially just the Moltres, and Stakataka if I feel like it. Moonblast and Draining Kiss are my double stab Fairy. Moonblast for Garchomp. Draining Kiss also lets me get health back on the Urshifu. As you see, I am not running speed on my Gardevoir. Basically, I do not care for trying to speed tie Stoutland. I don't care if we're trying to speed tie or try to outspeed like a no speed Quillfish, because he can easily just run a max HP Quillfish, enough speed for Gardevoir, and call it a day. And Scarf really doesn't benefit me, because if he Scarf Urshifu, I die. So I figured I'd pick the safer approach and try to take the hits from his faster threats, so that way I can respond more adequately. Specifically, with my investment with 252 HP and 100 defense, I can guarantee take any one hit from any one non-boosted hit from Garchomp after rocks. I think I went as far as living Iron Head. Yeah, I live Iron Head guaranteed from Garchomp after rocks. It does slightly more damage than Stab Earthquake. And I can even live a Wicked Blow from the Urshifu from full, if it's not banded. So if it's Scarf, the max roll is 99. It's 99%. I go for Draining Kiss. Pixie Play boosted to knock that thing out, unless he's Roly Berry. Other than that, though, Gardevoir is pretty straightforward. And then lastly, we do have the Vikavolt with the heavy duty boots, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Bug Buzz, and Roost. Pretty straightforward pivot set. I've pretty much been bringing a set like this on my Vikavolt the entire season, just because it's really good at what it does. Granted, I do wish I was able to get a bit more kills with this Vikavolt, but the idea still holds up pretty well. It's able to take the hits I need, come in, tank the hit, Roost for recovery, Volt Switch for momentum. I pretty much Volt Switch on everything that's not Garchomp. And even then I can chip that thing down with Bug Buzz, which also gives me coverage, neutral coverage against his Whimsicott. And then Thunderbolt is basically just to hit stuff like Moltres and Quillfish harder if I need to stay in for a turn. EV spread, I don't remember off the top of my head. I know for a fact the HP and the defense investment lets me take a Banded Wicked Blow from Urshifu from full, and the special defense I believe was to deal I want to say it had something to do with either Alakazam or Whimsicott, but I'm pretty sure it was more so Whimsicott. Like, I think it was like taking two Moonblasts guaranteed from a non-boosted Whimsicott. I think that's what the benchmark I was going for with my Vikavolt. Or something along those lines. It was either Whimsicott or I think it could have been like Shazam Psychic or something like that. I don't really know off the top of my head. But yeah, the set is pretty straightforward. Its role is just to be a pivot, get in and out, Volt Switch if possible. Very straightforward. So yeah, do apologize for this being a little bit longer, but that is a team builder. Without further ado, let's get into the battle. Alright, so yeah. So yeah, what you're seeing here is we actually ended up playing on Showdown. I was actually ready to play him on Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, his computer ended up getting fried, and he couldn't do LAN. And I really didn't want a situation where, oh, does that mean we're going to have to do another 20-minute timer? Which I despise. So to cut out the chances of timer playing a factor into any result, whether it be for me or against me, we decided, let's just play on Showdown, get the match in. So, that explains the situation you see here. We're here on Showdown. You see what he ended up bringing: the Garchomp, the Urshifu Single Strike, Quillfish, Whimsicott, Moltres, and Stoutland. And it's actually kind of a recurring thing so far with the fact of people bringing their normal types to deal with my Dragapult, just so they don't automatically get overwhelmed by Shadow Ball. So, pretty funny. My week 6 game was the same thing, where my opponent brought he brought Persian to deter me from going for Shadow Ball. But in any case, this is more or less what I was expecting. Bar a couple of changes for the most part, but like the first 5 was more or less what I was expecting, just to have the Urshifu and the Garchomp deter Volt Switch. I'm assuming Quillfish is going to be like Rocky Helmet for my Urshifu, Whimsicott a backup response to Urshifu, and Dragapult check, Moltres necessary to have a way to pressure my Cinderace, because I can't really touch that. And then Stoutland to just deter Shadow Ball from my Dragapult, but I am banded. But yeah, so without further ado, let's just hop right into the battle. What I ended up doing is, in the game, I ended up bleeding off with my Cinderace, because it had a pretty much good matchup against most of his team. If he leads off with Quillfish, I'm just going to U-turn out, see if he's Rocky Helmet. Against everything else, though, I guess I'd also U-turn out on Garchomp. Granted, I'd be a bit more cautious if the Garchomp is Scarf. It could be Scarf, it could just be Rock, since it's only potential Stealth Rocker. He didn't bring Stack Attacker, so my Gardevoir is a bit less pressured. I'm a bit more comfortable clicking my Dual Stab in this matchup as well. But yeah, let's just hop right into the match. So, sorry about that. So, like I said, I do end up bleeding off with my Cinderace because, like I said, it had a good matchup against 4 of his 6 Mons. He ends up bleeding off with his Moltres and reveals Pressure right away, which is interesting, and then he also reveals his Choice Scarf with Ancient Power. And luckily doesn't get the boost. I do go for Super Fang to chip that thing down with to 51%, but seeing as though he's Choice Scarf into Ancient Power, I'm going to make the play out into my Urshifu Rapid Strike and go for to take the Ancient Power. And now expecting him to switch out into the Quillfish, I am just going to predict that and go for the U-turn on the incoming Quillfish, as I'm going to go out into my Vikavolt on the Quillfish. And I figure go for the Volt Switch. If he goes Garchomp, it's no big deal. As he does go Garchomp on my Volt Switch. But I figure, okay, let's get some damage off on this with Bug Buzz, as he's going to go for Rock Slide and do 49% to my Vikavolt, and then I go for Bug Buzz, and that did 32%. And I'm thinking in my head, wait, this Bug Buzz did a whole lot less to Garchomp than I expected. So it's either one of two things, as he doesn't reveal leftovers. It's either my Vikavolt I either got a low roll with Bug Buzz, or it's quite possible that the Garchomp is either bulky, like max HP, or there's also the chance he could be Assault Vest. Granted, I didn't do any calcs during this game. I was just playing this solely off... I was just playing this game mainly off of instinct, because of the fact that at the time we were playing this game, it was already, like, past the deadline, so it was more like, let's just get the game in, not really care too much about the result, just get the game in, no worries. So I'm not calculating to see whether or not this Garchomp is AV, if it's max HP, whatever the case may be. All I know is that took way too little for it to be just straight up offensive. Because even uninvested Modest does about 40. So I'm thinking in my head, this probably is Assault Vest. And the fact that he is Rock Slide, and the fact that he did 49, is probably means he's either not very invested, or it's just like a min roll. Cause my Vikavolt can guarantee take a Stone Edge from the Garchomp, no problem. But seeing as though how little that the Garchomp took from my Bug Buzz, I'm assuming he's either max HP or he's Assault Vest. I can 2 KO this, but I am going to pull the switch out into my Dragapult, expecting him, I was expecting him to go out into, I was going to go hard Dragapult on another Rock Slide, because he wasn't going to Earthquake he wasn't going to click Earthquake, and I was expecting him to go out into the, I was expecting him to either get up his rocks or go out into the, what's it called? The go hard Moltres. I'm expecting another Bug Buzz, but he goes out into Stoutland, and I'm like, okay, this is actually okay for me, except only if he's not like Scarf or whatever. And the fact that he is revealed Intimidate means he is scrappy, which is okay by me. But yeah, I'm just going to now go for the safe U-turn, do 42 to the Stoutland. I'm going to go straight out into my Mandibuzz, as he's going to go for the Play Rough. Do a decent chunk to my Mandibuzz, but he is going to take Rocky Helmet damage and pop my Weak Armor. So I get the +2 speed boost, I outspeed this, I go for Foul Play, and I knock out the Stoutland. So that's good. In hindsight, even though my Dragon Bolt doesn't have a ghost move, but regardless, he goes out into his Urshifu now. I'm going to stay in here, get some damage off, go for the Brave Bird, do about more than half to this thing. He's going to Wicked Blow, and he's going to knock out my Mandibuzz, but he is going to take Rocky Helmet damage, which just goes to show that he's not protective pads. I get to go out into my own Urshifu, expecting him to switch out because I'm assuming he's Choice Scarf or Bandit. I didn't calc the damage, but he is going to go out into the Qwilfish again. I am going to U-turn once again and go back into my Vikavolt here. And I believe here I go for the Roost as he ends up getting up a layer of spikes, which is okay-ish. Like it hinders everything on my team, bar Cinderace and this. So now I make the switch out into Whimsicott on my Volt Switch, because I guess he expected me to go straight for the Bug Buzz this time. But I want to Volt Switch into my Cinderace and try to force the thing out, because, well, like I said, my Cinderace doesn't outspeed this. He's going to go for Tailwind here. So I'm going to U-turn, expecting him to switch out, but he doesn't. He's going to get Tailwind up. I go back into my Vikavolt here, and now I believe I go for the Volt Switch again. As he just goes to the Moonblast, does a decent chunk. I Volt Switch here as I bring back in my Cinderace. Yeah, so I go back in the Cinderace on the Whimsicott, and I'm basically just trying to like wear down Tailwind turns, but he makes a hard play into Qwilfish on my Power Ball. And that does nothing. And then I make a bit of a mistake here because of this. So, so the play here was to actually go directly back into my Vikavolt, but in my mind, I'm not paying attention, and I forget that Tailwind was still up for one more turn. So the Qwilfish ends up outspeeding my Cinderace. He gets damage off with Poison Jab, and it puts me in range where I actually go for a U-turn and I die to Rocky Helmet. Which is bad for me because I kind of needed my Cinderace to check the Whimsicott. So yeah, I'm now going to have to rely a bit more on my Gardevoir and my Vikavolt to get rid of the Whimsicott. So this is pretty not good. So far, as I'm already down 2 Pokemon. But nonetheless, though, I am just going to make the play out and go back into my Vikavolt here. And I believe I'm just going to Volt Switch again, as he's going to Liquidation, try to get some damage off as I go for the Volt Switch and knock out the Qwilfish. So that's good. That's one less response for my Urshifu out of the way. I Volt Switch into my Dragon Ball here, trying to keep the offensive pressure up and try to force in anything but this, but he goes into Whimsicott, gets the Tailwind up again. I'm just going to go for the safe U-turn, almost knock it out, but it is in range to where I can go out into my Urshifu, and I am just going to click Aqua Jet, because it should definitely die to Aqua Jet at 12%. So I go for Aqua Jet, we take out the Whimsicott, and things are looking okay. For the most part, but in comes the Urshifu, and now it comes down to essentially 50-50, because at this point right now, I'm playing this Urshifu like it's Choice Scarf, and he really can't lock himself into one move. That's pretty much my mindset. So basically, what I'm thinking is, if he goes for close combat and he is choice locked, I get a free switch into my Dragapult or my Gardevoir because I'm an immunity and 4 times resistant to fighting moves. If he goes for Wicked Blow, as I stay in, I live the Wicked Blow, I knock him out. Obviously, if I also switch into Dragapult expecting the fighting move and he goes for Wicked Blow, I lose my Dragapult. So yeah. So basically the idea with this play was to actually risk him, basically trying to risk him, like, deciding what he wants to lock himself into, because like I said, I'm playing this Urshifu like it's Choice Scarf. I didn't do any calcs to know whether it's Bandit or Scarf. The only thing I know is that the Moltres is Scarf. But nonetheless, though, I am actually going to stay in and click Drain Punch because it was pretty no drawback. Even if he makes a double into Garchomp or the Moltres, it's no drawback, especially considering I'm Protective Pad, so Garchomp's Rough Skin won't bother me, or Rocky Helmet, and the Moltres ended up being Pressure, so it's not Flame Body. So yeah, I'm going to stay in here as he is going to Wicked Blow, expecting me to go out into my Dragapult. I get the 50-50 right, I Drain Punch, and the Battle of the Urshifu is won by my Rapid Strike. So yeah, Urshifu goes, Single Strike goes down here, in comes the Garchomp. I am now going to go out and sack my Vikavolt because I still need my Urshifu around for Aqua Jet on the Scarf Moltres, as he's actually going to go for Scale Shot and get the amount of hits to knock out my Vikavolt, which is okay. It does allow me to go out into my Gardevoirs. I don't see a as it doesn't reveal like a boosting item. In comes my Gardevoir here. I trade the Rough Skin, and here's where I make another bit of a misplay, per se. And basically the misplay is what I do here. So Urshifu is gone. All he has left is the Garchomp and this Moltres. The idea is I can take any hit from Garchomp as long as he doesn't crit me. If he does crit me, then I essentially lose, because Garchomp can then I don't know if Scale Shot kills Dragapult after spikes, or if he has Dragon Claw, whatever the case may be, and my Urshifu's not enough HP to take another hit from Garchomp. But I ended up clicking Draining Kiss, which was a bad play because I didn't kill. He's going to go for Poison Jab here, doesn't kill me, I get poisoned, he takes Rough Skin damage, I go for Draining Kiss, which doesn't kill him, which is bad in the sense that I didn't knock him out, but it's good in the sense of, well, Gardevoir goes down here to the Earthquake, although essentially this should have been Gardevoir's kill, because if I just clicked Moonblast, this all would have been okay. But the kill is going to go to my Urshifu. I take the spikes damage, I click Aqua Jet to revenge kill the Garchomp. Protective Pads protects me from the Rough Skin, and yeah, that's essentially going to be the game here, because all he has left now is the Choice Scarf Moltres. Hopefully Aqua Jet will pick up the final kill on the Moltres, but we just missed out by 3%. He is going to go for the Hurricane and connect, take out my Urshifu, and it all comes down to Dragapult, but I am packing the Sucker Punch on my Dragapult to go for the Sucker Punch, knock out the Moltres, and we are going to pick up the 1-0 win over the Seattle Dragonairs. So yeah, a very close game. Definitely misplayed a bit on my end. The missing, like, not counting Tailwind properly made me lose my Cinderace a lot earlier than I should have lost it. And then clicking Draining Kiss on the Garchomp when I could have just spammed Moonblast for the most part. And then if I lived the hit from Moltres or Dodge, whatever the case may be, I could have Thunder Waved it for my Urshifu to get another kill. But nonetheless, though, I'm more happy with the fact that we did get this battle in. Yeah, it was a really, really rough one for the most part, just because of the fact that this game couldn't happen on Wi-Fi, and I much rather would have preferred this than having it come down to 20-minute timer, because it's definitely the way we were playing, it definitely would have gone down the timer, and I really didn't want that to play a factor in the result of the match. But nonetheless, we are now 6-2 on the season. So yeah, Urshifu Showdown won by Rapid Strike on the Miami Malamarlins. Really happy about that. But nonetheless, though, GG again to TD. Be sure to check them out. And I do apologize for this video being up so late, and hopefully this won't happen again in the future. We still have 3 more games to go before the season comes to a close, and we are making that final push into the playoffs. So yeah, that's going to be it from me. Hope you guys did enjoy, and until the next time, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.